to them as citizens of the Crown. That is what caused the Revolutionary War. Perhaps the most interesting part of our history is that almost exactly the same thing has happened to us once again. What's the old saying about what happens if we don't learn from history? By incorporating federal, state, and county governments, because of the Federal Reserve's colorable currency, the U.S. government made it possible to remove the common law supported by our U.S. Constitution and implemented a prostituted form of maritime or admiralty law called statutory law. Our ancestors refused to tolerate it, and it will be interesting to see if today's society, which seems more motivated by security and comfort than by right and wrong and liberty, will accept the law of the seas. I think we've lived with the law of the seas long enough. I think it's time for a change. And this article goes on to give you some complicated definitions, the law definitions, and I'm not into all that. I'll leave the link. You can read them yourself. But I'd like to go on and get to the meat of this article. I believe it's very important. And the American court system has been manipulated in such a way for such a period of time that we are under tyrannical rule and don't even know it. And what are the courts going to do? They've got the best of both worlds. The courts don't want to admit that they are operating under admiralty maritime jurisdictions. So they took the international law and adopted it into our codes. That is what the Supreme Court decided in the Erie Railroad case, Erie Railroad versus Tompkins, Supreme Court, 1938. That the decisions will be based on commercial law or business law, and that it will have criminal penalties associated with it. Since they were instructed not to call it admiralty jurisdiction, they call it statutory jurisdiction. Do you see how the Federal Reserve notes were the basic cause of the problems we now see in our courts, our financial system, our republic, our independence as people? They created a fiat currency backed by nothing. Keep in mind the word note means loan. It is colorable currency. The common law, as embodied in the U.S. Constitution for the protection and security of persons and property, is substantive law. Substantive right, a right as the life, liberty, and property or reputation, held to exist for its own sake and to constitute part of the normal legal order of society. The intention of the founding of access to this law by the people. The most important thing people can work to achieve is constitutional counties. This system is imposed on us from the top down, and we must be unwound from the bottom up. Corporations can be dissolved, and we need to do that. It's not difficult to achieve. Get enough signatures on a petition and get the initiative in your county ballot and vote the corporations out of existence. It is, however, more difficult than it sounds. It requires extensive planning because you must remember how we got from a constitutional republic to crony capitalism. Here's what I think happened. The Federal Reserve came into being in 1913. Our money was turned into a fiat currency when President Nixon took us off the gold standard. The U.S. government was based on common law, which made colorable money. And that made it impossible for it to continue issuing Federal Reserve notes. So the federal government incorporated itself, which made it possible for them to continue with the issuance of Federal Reserve notes. It became clear that the states could not accept colorable money from an incorporated federal government unless they too were incorporated. And the same thing happened to our counties. To gain access to a colorable currency, an entire system had to be created. How much simpler our lives would be if the Treasury Department had taken over America's monetary system rather than build this octopus so the Federal Reserve System could be maintained. This attests to the power of the Rothschild central banking system, and not all of the nations of the Middle East have central banks. Libya didn't have one until Gaddafi was removed from office and killed. Libya now has a central bank. Though it is not difficult to dissolve the corporations if it is the will of the people to regain their constitutional rights, a great deal of thought must go into how a country that dissolves its corporations will survive without federal and state dollars. Some of the questions that arise are, if common law is returned to our court system and our governing bodies, it requires a currency that has substance and contracts based on that substance. Fiat currency has no substance. How can those people being paid by the federal, state, and county governments get paid in a currency of substance? How about people receiving Social Security and Medicare benefits? How about veterans receiving retirement and VA benefits? They are being paid in Federal Reserve notes, as we all are, which, since they are not redeemable in gold and silver, are deemed as having no substance, and contracts with no substance are rejected by common law. This part of the problem resolution is complex, but with good planning it can be done. Can fiat currency be used at all in a constitutional country? Is there a way to reject the colorable statutory laws created by federal and state governments and build a bridge between common law and uniform commercial code, admiralty, maritime law, equity law, etc.? Well, if you want my opinion, I don't think it should be mixed and intertwined. Look what we've lived with the mix and intertwine. And as for the gold currency, you really shouldn't have a fiat currency because your government can print as much money as they want and pocket it. Look what's going on today. And it comes out off the sweat of our brow. So, in conclusion, liberty is never free. How much you value it will determine the price you are willing to pay to regain it. This is Call of Duty Goddess signing off, and as always, I've got your 6.
Interesting. A lot of stuff we already knew, but well, most of us knew. Oh, we're trying to get the Skype thing worked out so that we can be connected, but worst case scenario, Kathy can be the bridge. Let's see. Professor Doom has released a video titled Killer AI Threat from Enemy Countries.
Everybody, check this out, all right? A Pentagon is examining how enemy nations could empower machines. We're going to take a look at what the #2 civilian official had to say about other countries using these AI weapons to act on their own, striking other countries. He said that the Defense Department is concerned that adversary nations could empower advanced weapon systems to act on their own. But however, the United States will not give this type of technology the authority to kill autonomously like other countries might. Robert O'Rourke, Deputy Defense Secretary, says the Pentagon hasn't fully figured out the issue of autonomous machines, but continues to examine it. And here's my opinion on all of that. I think that that's a load of bullcrap. We have seen many secret agencies, some known and some unknown. I will use, for example, DARPA. They parade this technological advancements out in front of the public and say, see, this is where we're at in robotics. Yet secretly in their little special laboratories, they're about 10 to 20 years advanced from what they're even disclosing to the American public. You have these other countries most likely probably knowing exactly that. So what this is going to be, to me, do you remember in the Cold War when it was all about missile for missile? The United States was doing theirs, Russia was doing theirs. You're going to have where other countries are going to be creating these type of systems, and the United States feeling that it needs to be in a position of superiority above everybody else will be doing the exact same thing. And before you know it, we'll probably end up in the movie. What movie? Exactly, Terminator. That's how I see something like this playing out. But hey, what do I know? I don't know much. But you guys can check out the rest of the article here. And they go on to assure everybody, we will not delegate lethal authority to a machine to make a decision, Work said. The only time we will delegate a machine authority is in things that go faster than human reaction time, like cyber or electronic warfare. Yeah, well, we'll see how long this holds true. Thanks, everybody.
Alrighty, there appears to be a giveaway. The video is on the Cokeman 250 channel, but it's titled Hardway Farms Honey Giveaway. And I will give you the link in chat in case you want to get in on that.
Hey everybody, Cokeman 250 here. This is going to be a video response for Hardway Farms, Jason over there. 1952 Jeep, formerly known as. I think he's still got that channel going. I see him comment every once in a while and upload a video. Been subbed to this guy for a long time, and thanks for all the videos you've done through the years and sharing what you've been doing and sharing your life with us. He's doing a honey giveaway. He's really gotten into the bees pretty good here a few years ago, and one day maybe I'll get into it myself. But he's doing a contest or a giveaway, and if you're going to make a video response, just do what you do, and then you can leave a comment. I'll put that video right up here in the information. Click that I in the circle, and a drop down box that'll give you his video. Click on that, go over and watch it. You can also leave a comment and just comment your favorite YouTube channel and be put in a giveaway. So I'm going to go ahead and get my favorite YouTube channel out of the way, and I know I don't have to do that for this video, but I got a lot of favorites on YouTube, made a lot of great friends. I've been on here about 5 years. Of course, my buddy Membound, used to be Membound. The channel's still up, got a lot of good preparedness canning videos on there, but he's got a new channel, and it's Runs with Knives Leatherwork. I'm going to put his link in the bottom. Sebago Steve, good buddy of mine. I loved his channel also. He's got a ton of awesome videos still on there, and Coping with the Times and Runs with Leather have been making videos here recently, but Sebago Steve hadn't made one in a while, so get to it, buddy. But Pop's Quest for a Simple Life, Pop's Cabinet Shop, used to be Pop Prepper. Another one of my good buddies on here. He's still active YouTuber. I wish Runs with Knives. He makes one every once in a while. I wish he'd get back on it. Sebago Steve, you guys start making videos again, guys. Come on now. Anyway, those are some of my go-to channels. I've been subbed to these guys for a long time. Good friends of mine. One of my favorite also YouTube channels right now is Boss of the Swamp. Hadn't found him very long ago. Probably less than a year, maybe a year ago. He's got some real good stuff. He's a very active YouTuber right now. Also, Homesteadonomics. Oh, Joe over there. Active channel. Just did an awesome in-ground like half underground greenhouse. Man, it's awesome. You guys go check them out. I'm going to leave all these guys' links down in the bottom. Anyway, for this video response, now I'm going to get on to the part. Sorry, I'm just rambling on here, but he said, do what you do. I've had my channel for about 5 years, and I do all kinds of stuff. But one thing I hadn't done in a long time is a motivational speech. A little pep talk, if you will. You know, I do the Positively Preparing series here on my channel, and it's no doom and gloom. It's just preparing for whatever life throws at you. Well, I know life's throwing a lot of stuff at us right now. It's an election year. There's so much garbage all over everywhere, and I'm going to tell you, I'm just fed up with it and tired of hearing about it. To me, there ain't one person that's up there that deserves to be there. People that need to be running is people like you and people like me. And I'm not saying that just because I think I'm the man. I'm saying that because we need some average folks up there, okay? People who aren't just, I mean, they have no clue, okay? And anyway, it's just I don't even want to talk about that no more, but I watched this movie called Woodlawn not long the other night, and I hadn't seen it. It's been out a while. It's a faith-based movie, and it's kind of a football movie back in the segregation time period. And toward the end of the movie, there's a high school football team, and they converted to following Jesus Christ and accepted him as their Lord and Savior. And they've spread it out. I mean, they spread it to another football team who they've started following Jesus also. And there was a championship game, and 42,000 people came to this high school football game. They had to turn 20,000 people away because they wouldn't fit in the stadium. Line as far as you could see of cars. Thing is, that's what happens, they said, when God shows up. That was one of the statements made, and that's what happens when God shows up. Things, impossible things that it's unheard of. And, you know, when we're praying and we're studying our Bible and we're staying in the will of God, God shows up, and we can do things because we draw our strength through Christ.
Wow. YouTube has like really been freaky. I've checked my internet. I've checked everything
through Christ who strengthens us. And
it's not my computer bogging.
Conversation with somebody, positive, upbeat, encouraging conversation, you could say to them, a sentence could change that person's outlook, change their life, change the way they go through the rest of that day, and could be a domino effect on other people that they're going to be around that day. You don't know what 5 seconds of positive statements that you say to a stranger in a grocery store could have an effect on the future generations. Yeah, one thing, one small 5-second part of your day. Life's hard, but when we start thinking about what do we want our legacy to be, how do we want to be remembered? Well, I want to be remembered unselfish, and always thought about other people, put others first, and made an impact, positive impact. We need to be unselfish, and we need to be thinking about future generations and doing things that are going to affect our grandchildren and our kids.
Don't know if you guys can hear the cat fight going on. I had my mic up.
Kids. Because that's what our grandparents and our parents and our great-grandparents done, okay? They did unselfish things that affected our lives. And that's why we have the freedoms we have right now. And I know they're attacking those freedoms left and right, but we have them now, okay? And we need to do what we need, just have a positive impact for the future. I'm not saying, you know, I know there's a lot of unchristian people that watch my videos. And they're probably not going along with the Christian beliefs that I have. But do something for future generations. Do something unselfish. The society we live in today is built around selfishness and greed, and that's not what our lives are meant to be. We should have an effect on the future. Do something today, folks. Do something this week that's going to affect the future. Be positive, lift somebody up, give a word of encouragement, even if you're down. Give somebody a word of encouragement, or, you know, that single mom who's out there doing something, working, waiting your table at the restaurant. Give her a word of encouragement. You see her in a grocery store with her kid crying, and, you know, don't be angry. Give her an uplifting word. For that guy who's working 2 jobs trying to make ends meet for his family, okay? We can't look at the negative stuff. Look at the positive stuff that people are doing in this world. We're covered up and surrounded by negativity, and we can't dwell on it. Dwell on the positive things and uplift those positive things that you see in this world. When I see a couple praying out in a restaurant, I usually go by and say, thank you. We don't see that enough anymore. And me and my family, it don't matter where we're at. We pray before we eat. It don't matter if we're shoulder to shoulder, sitting at the same table as 40 other people. We bow our heads and we give thanks to the Lord. And I love seeing it. And I encourage folks to keep it up. So guys, do something uplifting, doing something encouragement. So this is my little pep talk. And I appreciate you guys listening. I appreciate you, Jason, for sharing with us your life. Thank you, and God bless. This Coke Man 250 from the land of the free and the home of the brave. Remember, prep smarter and pray harder.
And I would just like to say from the bottom of my heart, if you don't succeed at something, try harder because somebody else did it.
All right, so I got a couple of my favorite videos.
Hang on. Where's that
here.
coming from?
Lighting and using the perfection heater right there on the left, and then right there on the right's a part 1 of a 3-part series of cleaning out my big barn. I'm transforming that into a wood shop here.
I mean, I just had to.
If you like what you've seen here and you want to see more, click that.
What is it with my YouTube
subscribe
tonight?
now banner right there in the middle, and you guys have a blessed day.
Let me shut down about everything in my browser. Shutting like everything down. Maybe it'll speed up. YouTube needs motivational speaking. Oops. I closed one I shouldn't have closed. That happens. I don't want that. Hang on. That's how laggy it is. That's how long it took for the video to pause after I clicked on it. I probably need to reboot, but I don't want everybody to freak out and think I'm gone. I'm going to do that. I don't want this show to be messed up. I'm going to reboot. You guys know the drill. I'm going to get it back up as absolutely quick as I can. It might take maybe about 5 minutes or so, but I'm going to reboot. I will be right back.